Well, somebody once asked me that what if I'm using a old version kind of computer, like those old computers, and I'm using the older version of Blender, which is Blender 2.79 perhaps, and I have little to no skill to produce some really awesome art, and on top of that, I only just know the basics of navigating around Blender, bringing in stuff and modeling very basic stuff. Could I actually come up with artworks like this, or this, or this, or this? Yes, I'm here to tell you that it's possible, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it. Today, we're gonna be modeling this little radio as a demonstration. This style, by the way, is called the outline semi-stylized style. So let's dig right into it. And before we begin, I want to tell you that this is not like the beginners, like complete beginners tutorial where I'll be showing you how to navigate, how to position that, how to do that. I'll just be modeling and then you can follow along. So if you're a complete beginner, go and find another beginner's tutorial, complete beginner's tutorial, and try to find your pace there, know how to navigate, how to rotate stuff, how to bring stuff in, and you'll be fine as you came back to this one. For those who already know the basics, everything that I'll be pressing here, it'll be appearing here on the corner. So if I press something and I didn't say anything, just rewind and look at this corner here. You will see what I pressed. So the first thing that I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna change the render engine to cycles, and I'm gonna delete the light, the lamp, and then of course I'm not gonna delete the cube. Most of people just assume that you gotta delete the cube every time you log in. This time, no, we're gonna actually use the cube, okay? From now on, we tap into edit mode, insert edge loop, and then this part here, this back part here, we're gonna delete it, delete, and then go to edge select mode, and then select face. Right, we come back here at the front, we press A for everything, and then while selected everything, we just say grab vertical, which is Z, and then 1 to bring this object right on top of this grid right here. And then when we're there, we're gonna press this edge right here, Control B, which is bevel, and then press 0.31, bevel that. And then when we're done with that, we can select these two edges right here and Control B, bevel, and press 0.0001 and enter. After that, we delete those faces, you know. I'm doing that because this style actually requires lines, and if we just leave it like that without defining these two lines, it won't actually draw them. The program won't draw them. So that is why I'm doing it. So the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna come to face select mode, and then we're gonna insert, and then we press 0.066. There we go. We have a little face right here, and then we're gonna press E to extrude it just a little bit. There we are. And right here, we're gonna select that face and then extrude, just leave it there, and then we're gonna say scale it on the y-axis 0.91, and then scale it on the x-axis. I'm gonna press here, middle point. We can see that it actually shifted to 3D cursor, so I'm gonna bring it back to medium point. We're gonna scale it on the x-axis, let's say 0.26. all right, and then after that we can extrude downwards just a little bit, and there we go. So you can see that the angle that we're working on right now is pretty wide, so we're gonna press 5 on the numpad to turn this perspective mode into orthographic. So 5, there we go. Now we can navigate easily. So the next step that we do is to select this face, press Ctrl S, and then go to cursor to selected, and then it will snap right here. The cursor will snap right here. Is this white and the red thing, so to say. And then we're gonna come to the front view by 3 on the numpad, and then after that we're gonna go out of edit mode and then insert a cylinder. Make sure that it has 16 vertices, and then rotate it to the y-axis by 90 degrees. And then we're gonna press Z for wireframe mode, and then we're gonna scale this circle of ours. Maybe give it a 0.668 or just 0.6, whatever you prefer. And then I'm gonna come to the side view by 1 on the numpad. Make sure that this thing only goes this far, right? This cylinder only goes this far. Why am I doing this, you may ask? I want to create a hole, a cylindrical hole on this object using something called a Boolean modifier, and you're gonna see how I will do it. So let's come to the side view, and then I'm gonna click here. Make sure that whatever it is that I bring in its center is around here. So I'm gonna say Shift A, bring in a cube, scale it, maybe scale it to 0.08, and then scale it on the x-axis by let's say maybe 3.3. There we go. And then you bring it in the middle here, bring it down maybe, and then Shift D, you duplicate it, bring another one here, duplicate it, bring another one here. As you can see, the cylinder and these cubes are like one object. You know, I don't have to tap out and go to another object and tap out and go to another object. These are the same object. I can select this object, I can select this object all at once. So I'm gonna select this guys and press Ctrl L to select them all, and then I'm gonna come to the front view and move them right in here. Make sure that their middle is right here on the line of my little radio. So let's make those cylindrical holes that I was talking about. So I'm gonna tap out, select the object, which is the radio, and then go to our modifiers here. And then I'm gonna select the Boolean modifier. Boolean modifier, there it is. And then go to difference, and then take this marker thing and then press not the radio, but then the other objects that I want to make holes with. Press it, and then I come to this stuff that I want to make holes with as well. Come to the object tab, and here on texture I choose wire. As you can see, if I grab this thing, the holes moves with it, you know. So if the holes are exactly where I want them to be, what I'm gonna do is come here, go to my modifiers and apply modifier. Take this stuff and delete it. As you can see, what we're left with here is only the holes that those objects made. The next thing that we're gonna do here is on our little radio, make a speaker. There you go. Select this inside face here of this cylinder hole, and then scale it inwards just a little bit, maybe so, and then go to the side view and then wireframe mode, pull it back a little bit as a speaker would be like, and I think that's just about it. Yeah. And then after you're done, you come here and select this face, and then press Shift S and then cursor to selected, and then whatever it is that I bring in, its origin is gonna be right here. Okay, so I'm gonna tap out, so I'm gonna bring in a cylinder, now a UV sphere, so to say, sorry about that. And as I bring in a UV sphere, I'm gonna make sure that its segment is 16 and its ring is only just 10, and then I'm gonna rotate it to the y-axis by 90 degrees. There we go. Then I'm gonna go to the front view, go to wireframe mode, and scale it until it fits this little ball right here, this little circle right here. There we go. And then the next thing that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to side view using 1, obviously, and then go to edit mode, take a box select, pressing B, and then highlighting this part, and then I delete it, delete faces, and then go back to object mode and scale to the x-axis, bring it back like this, and then grab this object to the x-axis and just move it a little bit. Make sure that its surface doesn't come across, these two surfaces don't meet, so to say. You leave a little space in between so that the program could be able to draw a line around it. Otherwise, if you make them come together, the program will have a hard time drawing a line around it. So there we go, we have our speaker right here. And then another thing that we're gonna do, as it's still like that, I'm gonna come here and insert a Shift A, insert a circle, and then rotate it to the y-axis. One thing you should do is that you should make sure that your circle has the vertices, 16 vertices, and then rotate it to the y-axis, and then by 90 degrees. Rotate it to the y-axis by 90 degrees. Go to wireframe mode, you will see is the one that is yellow, and then scale it until it matches this other circle that is here. Okay, and then go to your side view, make sure that it's right on this line, right here. And then as you can see, we cannot see it, but then it's selected. If you go to wireframe mode, you can see it. So the next thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna come to object, and then we're gonna go to convert to curve. We're gonna convert this little thing into a curve, and then we're gonna come to the curve options right here. Here where it says full, we said half, we said full, fill formed, and then we're gonna require a depth for this curve of ours, and then maybe like 4 resolution. There we go. I'm satisfied with how this turned out, you know, I like it like this. And then the next thing that we're gonna do is bring this curve back to an object. Okay, and then you bring it back to mesh. If you could go to a side view, press tab for edit, you could see that now you could actually select the meshes in here, or the faces. You do box select, you select half of it, which is inside the radio, and then delete it, base, see? And then as you're still on the side view, select all of it using A, and make sure that it doesn't intersect with the radio. Leave a little space in between, like I've said. And then the next thing that we're gonna do here is that when we're still here, we're gonna tap out. When we're still here, we're gonna insert a plane, rotate it to the y-axis by 90 degrees. And then if we would go to wireframe mode, is the one that is yellow, and then make sure that it, you know, it surrounds this cylindrical shape right here. And then when you've done that, rotate it by 45 degrees, right? And then tap into edit mode and subdivide by like 4 times maybe. When you're done doing that, take these other things which are actually extruding out of the radio and delete them. These faces, you delete them, and then as you can see, it's inside there. So we can press A and GX to bring it forth, the radio. and then we could maybe bring it inside here, just in between these two, and then tap out of, as you can see, it's still selected on Wireframe. Go to Modifiers tab and go to Wireframe. As you can see now, it has like this little sieve thing going on here. So from here, you can maybe, I don't know, if you want to resize it or whatever, and then increase the thickness and check in the boundary. Increase the thickness. I think I'm good with this thickness right here. And then one other thing that you could do is to bring in the bevel modifier, make it 3 segments. And then another thing that you could do is bring in the subsurface modifier. And I think that's just about it. And then you can bring it inside here. Make sure that it doesn't stick out of the radio. Scale and bring it here. There we go. There we go. We have our little radio here, as you can see. You can smooth it out if you want. And the next thing that we're gonna do is to make a handle right on top of this radio. We're gonna select our original object, select this top face right here, and then Shift D, and then bring it up here to duplicate that face, and then go to up view, like the top view, using 7 on the numpad, and then select scale on the y-axis, scale it maybe so, and then go to edge select mode and select these 2 edges, go to the front view, and then E and Z to extrude it downwards. There we go. And then from there on, you press Ctrl and the plus button on the numpad. It will select everything one by one, all the faces one by one, and then you're gonna scale it on this y-axis, bring it like this, and then maybe grab it and bring it right here. After that, when you're done with that, press P to separate it from the rest of the mesh of the radio, and it'll be on its own. As you can see, now it's on its own. And then what you're gonna do is to come and add a solidify modifier and even thickness. There you go. You have your handle right there. So there we go, we have our handle. So what the next thing that you're gonna do is to come by the side view, make sure that grab X and make sure that this 2 doesn't overlap, like this thing and this hole right here are not on the same place, you know. So, and then we're gonna come to our volumes. Let's go to our volumes, and then press Shift A, insert a circle, make sure it has 16 vertices, rotate it to the x-axis by 90 degrees, and then scale it so that it can look like a volume at least. There we go, maybe that's just about fine. There we go. After that, you go to edit mode using tab, go to vertex mode, vertex selection, and then you go to the front view. Make sure that it's right outside this radio right here, but then it's just not touching the radio completely, okay? And then extrude it to the x-axis, to the y-axis, when you're done doing that, press ES and then scale like this, maybe this much, and then EY again, bring it inside, ES, and then bring it inside just a little bit, and then EY again, bring it out, and press F to fill that, and then Control B to bevel this. While you're scrolling, it's gonna be end lines, and then there we go, we have our volume right there. Well, it's not perfect, but it'll work, I guess. So you're gonna select everything that is on the volume here by Control L. Gonna select everything that is on the volume, every face, and then Shift D to duplicate it, and then press X so that it can go in this direction. Put it here and then rotate it Z-axis by 90 degrees. There we go. It's facing that away now. Come to the front view and put it right here where there is space. Maybe scale it a little bit so that it can fit in here. There we go. And then Shift D, duplicate it again and put it here. So with all those, Control L selected, you're gonna come to the side view and make sure that you put them right in front of this thing, right in front of the radio right here. I feel like even this one is a little bit spaced out. Let's bring it in just a little bit. Bring it in just a little bit. There we go. There we go. What else is left? All right, we're gonna make those little frequency sticks. I don't know what they're called really. Those ones that you use to actually see the frequencies and stuff. So I'm gonna come to face select mode, and I'm gonna say Shift D. There we go. And then while that duplicate of a face is still selected, I'm gonna press P, and there we go. Tap out, and then here I only have the face. You select the face. This is the radio. This is that face that I duplicated. So I'm gonna tap to edit mode on this face and scale it on the y-axis by let's say 0.009 maybe. That might work. Maybe 0.002. That will work. And go to vertex selection, and then come to these two vertices and then press G twice, and then reduce it to so. And then here, if we go to wireframe, there are these two vertices. You can come and say GG, bring them here in the middle. So A to select them both, and then G and Y to bring them here where you could see them. And after that, we're gonna go to front view and Shift D, and then bring it right here. Select these two vertices, GG, bring it right here, maybe let it be half of the first one. Then Shift D, duplicate that one as well. Duplicate that one as well, space it like that. Duplicate that one as well, space it like that. Now what we're going to do is that we're going to use an array modifier so that we don't keep, duplicating it and duplicating it. So we're going to come here on the modifiers and say array modifier, and use the second tab on the array modifier. Come to the front view, go even to the wireframe so that we can see clearly, and then there we go. Everything is spaced out equally, and then I'm gonna come here to count and count it until it fills this box right here. All right. Yeah, there we go. And then what we're gonna do next is that we're gonna come to edit mode, select everything, and say Shift D, and rotate to the y-axis by 180 degrees. There we go. And then we're gonna go from global to normal. Come to the side view. As you can see, this green line right here, you're just gonna take it, slide it right down here, and make sure that the space in between here is the space in between here. Space in between here is the space in between here. Come back here. As you can see, everything is spaced out equally and it's all nice. The next thing that we're gonna do is that we're gonna come to our front view. Make sure that it's not on the same line as our radio here. Grab it and just put it up here maybe, just a little bit. And then what is left right now is our antenna. We call it an aerial in South Africa. So we're gonna get an aerial. And then we're gonna come to the front view, select here, and then bring in a cylinder, and then scale it until it's so, maybe scale it, and then when you're done scale it on the z-axis, and bring the whole thing in this hole right here. That's where it belongs. Then I'm gonna select this face, press I to insert it, and press E to extrude. Do the same, I to insert it, E to extrude. And then for the last time, I to insert it, E to extrude. There you go. And then I to and then you press this loop right here of faces, press Alt E to extrude on the normals, and then as you can see, there you go, and then press it. There you go. You can select everything using Control L, as you can see, so you can judge whether your antenna or your aerial is thick or thin. If you feel like it's too thick or it's too thin, you can decrease or increase the thickness using S Shift Z. As you can see, thickness, thinness, thickness, thinness, whatever. And there we go. I think we're done here. The next thing that we're gonna do here is to insert some customization of our radio. And here on this little thing, we're gonna put a subsurface modifier, and we're gonna smooth it out. And on this one as well, we're gonna smooth it out. The next thing that we're gonna do is that we're gonna put some customization on our radio here. So I'm gonna press Shift A and then insert text, rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees and rotate it on the z-axis by 90 degrees. Rotate it on the z-axis by 90 degrees and scale it so that it becomes small. Go to the front view, and as you can see, it says text. I'm gonna tap into as you can see, it was written text, so I just deleted the last three letters. The only letter that is left is T here. So go to the side view, make sure that the text is not directly on the radio here, on the line of the radio. Go to our front view and go to our wireframe mode. What we can do here is to come to the text options and come and insert some text. I have some text here that contains like video and movies, games and movie symbols that could work for us. So I'm gonna open. It's on the subscription below if you need it, and as well as some other stuff that you're gonna need on this project. Open font and scale. As you can see, we start with the Transformers logo, and then I'm gonna say tab, delete, and then Q. As you can see, we have different kind of symbols here. I'm just deleting and inserting here. I think I like this one. I don't know what it's for, but I actually like this one. It's nice. So I'm gonna scale it down here, and I'm gonna scale it just a little bit, place it right here, and on this other side, I'm just gonna insert a plane, rotate to the y-axis, and then plane, scale, and make sure, go to the side view, make sure that it's on not in the same line as the radio. Bring it up here maybe just a little bit, and I think we are just about done with our radio here. So on this one, we're gonna adjust the camera, make sure we put in the colors, the lights, and composite it. Okay, so that it can look nice, because right now it doesn't have any lights, it doesn't have anything. So let's continue. Let's come to our this bottom panel right here, and then go to node editor, go to the world options, and then use nodes. On this one, we're gonna come here and insert something. I'm gonna use an HDR to actually light this this scene. An HDR is like a 360 image that actually reflects the light into the place or to the scene that your object is at or your objects are at. So I'm gonna use that in HDR. I don't know if I explained it well, but it's something like that. You're gonna see it when I do it. And then I'm gonna duplicate this, Shift D, and I'm gonna use a mix node, mix RGB node, plug this here, plug this here, and on top of this I'm gonna use a mapping node, and use a text coordinator, I think it's called coordinate. Yeah, there we go. And then generate, come to vector, and this one goes about there. And here, that's where I'm gonna put my HDR. Open. I have an HDR on the subscription below, so you can just download it there. It's the same HDR that I'm using right now. It's this Feldspar whatever. And then I'm just gonna select it, open it, and before we actually try to go to render mode on this thing, I just want us to set a few things just to position our sun on the HDR. So one thing that we're gonna set up right now is the rotations. This rotation right here is to make sure that the sun is rotating around the object. So if you want your sun to rotate, or maybe your shadow to be in a different place, you adjust this rotation right here. So on this rotation, it's gonna be 15.3, and here this is to elongate the shadows, or to shrink the shadows. If you want the shadows to elongate or to shrink, you must use this too. And then this one as well. Yeah, I think this one is to rotate, and these two are to elongate or to shrink the shadows. This one is to, move the sound around the object, So it's gonna be -104. There it is. I think we're just about done here on mix. I'm gonna come here and insert value, and here I'm gonna make sure that the strength is 6, because the strength of these HDRs can be pretty much harsh. And here I'm gonna say 0.66 if I may. On top of that, I'm gonna come here and press Shift C to bring the cursor back in the middle of the grid, and then press Shift A, insert a plane, and then scale a plane to 8, and then there you go. If we press Shift Z right now, we can see that we have our light, we have our shadows, everything is nice and clean. So one thing that we're gonna set up next, it's our camera, right? We're gonna come to our front view. Make sure that you are on orthographic mode. To switch from orthographic to perspective, you press 5 on the numpad. You see 5, 5, and 5. There you go. And what you're gonna do is that you're gonna press 4 2 times on the numpad, 1, 2, and then you're gonna press 8 1 time on the numpad. There you go. You see, we have all 3 sides right here. 3 sides that we actually work on. So I'm gonna press Ctrl Alt 0 to bring our camera right into this scene. One thing that I don't like about this is that the camera is just too long, I just want to make it a square. So I'm gonna come here to my render options, and on resolution I'll bring it to 1080 by 1080. There we go. And I'm gonna come here to this tab. To open it, you just press N and come to lock camera to view. And when I say lock camera to view, as I scroll in, my object is gonna come through. It's gonna come inside the camera or close to the camera, and then I'm gonna hold shift, hold the middle mouse button, and move this stuff. There we go. And then I'm gonna scroll in again. One thing that I like to do, because you can see that there is a very wide angle on the object right here, is that I'll go to the camera by pressing this red thing here. So you can see the camera is selected, come to the camera tab, and then put this to 18. There you go. And go backwards, just to make sure that the camera is not all that wide. It makes sure that the camera is not that wide. So shift, middle mouse button, hold both of them, and then there we go. And then close it. And then when you're done doing all that, you just press lock camera to view, so that when you go out, you can actually go outside your camera view. To go back to your camera, you press 0. There we go. And as we have all that, another thing that I'm gonna do is to come to render view and make sure that I select border, so that when I'm on the render, shift Z, when I'm on the render view, it only displays what I've modeled, or maybe what is inside the camera, I meant to say. And then I go here to the transparent to make sure that my HDRI, as you can see, is displaying here. It doesn't display. All I have is a transparent background right there. There we go, transparent. And then here's an option called freestyle. Is the one that actually bring lines into our artwork, you know. And if you could go below here, you can see that you can change the thickness of the line. For this kind of object, I would say 9 line thickness. You would actually experiment with yourself. Another thing, we can see that we have a very bare background right there. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go out here and then Shift C to bring the cursor to the middle, and then Shift A, bring in the plane scale to 9, and then rotate it to the x-axis, maybe by 18 degrees, maybe negative 18 degrees. Rotate by negative 18 degrees, and then I'm just gonna grab it to the y-axis and put it here where it can't touch my flat plane. And then I'm gonna press the period tab, and there we go. And from there, I'm gonna come to the top view right here, or I'm gonna come to my camera using 0. That plane is still selected. I'm gonna say rotate Z, and then as I move, you can see that that thing is moving right there. And then it will gonna act as our background. Make sure that it catches the light as well. And then as you can see, we have a little space left here, so we're gonna press S and size it. Now if we go here, we can see that our scene is completely covered. So what we can do right now is to render our scene to make sure that it actually looks good. And render, it's gonna take a while. I always hate this part, honestly, but we're gonna see how it pans out. So after this, after it's done rendering, we're gonna learn how to actually color it. And while we're done coloring it, we're gonna go to the composite. It's only gonna take like 20 minutes, I think, 10 minutes if we're lucky. So bear with me here, please. As you can see, it's actually finishing. You can see that everything right now is just white and boring. But then as soon as the freestyle lines that we ticked in this box kicks in, you can see that it will become interesting. Stroking rendering, the freestyle line stroke are rendering. As you can see, there we go. You see? Every line is perfectly drawn and it's beautiful. Right now, we're just gonna be putting colors or surfacing our object. One thing that we're gonna do first is to take this, go to select our bigger radio thingy, a bigger radio object, come to textures right here, and then insert a material. Materials that we're gonna use here are only diffused, okay? Don't use any other material. Diffused works best for this kind of style. I'm gonna insert a color ramp. I want my material to be gradient, to have like a peach color here, and it slowly like turns into orange as it goes up. So I'm gonna choose let's say pink, peach, or whatever it's called, and I'm gonna choose orange here, orange as it goes up. There we go. And I'm gonna take gradient texture, insert it here, and take my mapping node, and insert it here, and take the texture coordinate. Now I actually said it right. Object to vector, and then here, so that it can flow. What actually worked for me is that on the x-axis here, on the location, I put 0.33 so that it can be on the right height, and then on the rotation, so that it cuts right in the middle here and here in the middle. I put in, I believe it was 68.6. I think so, something like that. And then let's as we can see that let's increase the x-axis. Holding shift, we could slowly shift, and there we go. Oh, that worked for some reason. So yeah, I'm gonna come here to my scale. Okay, maybe it's not better to actually mess with the scale. Just leave it as is. Okay, and there we go. We have our material, a gradient from peach to orange. Very nice color. And we're gonna come to our volumes. As you can see, our volumes are a different color from these other materials. They're like dark gray or something like that. Go to tab mode, press A for all of them, and then press the space bar and type in flip normals. It means that their insides are on the outsides and the outside on the inside, you know, that's what it means actually. So we're gonna flip them. There we go. And then we tap out. There we go. They are a very nice color right now. So we're gonna give them a color, let's say blue. Very nice light blue. There we go. Nice light blue. We're gonna give this guy as well the same blue. And we're gonna give this guys our text right here blue, and then we're gonna give this one a blue as well. We're gonna give this one right here a blue as well. What else needs a blue? All right, I think we're done with the blue. And then as you can see, we have blue everywhere. And then here we're gonna take this one and this one, make it yellow maybe. Come here, take this color right here, come to hex, copy this color, Control C, and move back to here, and then come here, hex, Control V for pasting. And then now we have our orange color here. We just copied it, and Control Shift. There we go. We have yellow and blue. But then I want this. Let's select a bigger radio thing, and let's select this loop of faces right here. I want this to be all white. So I'm just gonna press the plus sign and assign this thing to white, or maybe to no material at all. So there we go, it's all white. And then one thing that I don't love about these volumes is that I want them to begin with they're blue. I want them to be yellow here in the beginning. So I'm gonna select this loops here, loops of faces, whatever, and then press Control plus on the numpad twice, 1, 2. And then when they're still selected, I'm gonna press the plus, the plus sign here, and I'm gonna select my orange material and assign. As you can see, everything now is orange and then it's blue right here. So I think that's just about it. And then we're gonna take our floor right here, maybe give it a subsurface modifier or something like that, and maybe view too. And then we're gonna give it some material as well. Control and then color ramp, mix it here, and noise modifier. I want to mix two colors using a noise modifier and a color ramp so that it doesn't become just white or blue or whatever. I could just mix two colors. So those colors are gonna be, I'm gonna use a green maybe and an orange, okay? And I'm gonna move them next to each other, maybe here. As you can see, we have our surface here, and it looks pretty weird, I might say. But then that is just gonna do for now. You can adjust it on your own time, honestly. And then the other thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna take this plane right here, right on there, and give it maybe a blue material. Let's see which one works. Give it a yellow, an orange maybe. Nah, that won't work. Let's take an orange type of color so that it can match up. Looks good, look good. And there we go. I think that's just about it. If you render this right now, it will be looking pretty good, I think. And one thing I think we forgot to model, let's go back to our ready right here. Select this panel right here and Control R, and we'll make an edge loop right there, and then bevel, and then we're gonna say Shift D to duplicate this. And as you can see, that is our duplicate face is still there, still selected. We're gonna go to the side view, and we're gonna press normal, and we're gonna raise it up just so, and we're gonna say extrude and bring it down just so, and select all of it and maybe scale it just a little bit. And as you can see, we have like a little thing right here that changes the channel or whatever. So yep, and then that we're gonna give it a red material. I'm gonna say give it a red material. There we go. Assign. There we go. There you go. Now you can render your stuff. It's looking good. The only thing that's left now is the composition, okay? So one thing that you should learn about this is that I never really used any hard contrasted color. If I was using a red, I was not using a crazy red or crazy blue. I was using color just around this center right here, okay? They look good for this kind of style. So I think that's just about it. You can render from here, and then you will have a pretty nice solution, result, so to say. Sorry about that. Now we are here, we have rendered everything and we have come up with a very nice results. What if I tell you that it can be better? Okay, there is a panel here called composition. It makes everything better, I can tell you that. But then before we actually go there, I'm gonna come here at this panel right here, at the scene panel, and come to color management and select here where it says none, select high contrast. As you can see, it has actually made the colors better, look nicer. And then from there we go to composition. Composition is where we define the colors. I'm gonna press N to let this go, and I'm gonna press dissolve this panels right here. There we go. And then I'm gonna press use nose and then backdrop, right? And then the reason why you're not seeing the backdrop or the image are displaying behind those nodes is because we don't have the view thing. So I'm gonna press viewer here, search viewer, and then as we plug it here, you can see that it's viewing, right? So the next thing that we're gonna do is that we're gonna set our brightness and our contrast. So I'm gonna press brightness and make sure that they all pass through brightness. Let's choose our brightness. I think 0.9 or just 1 is just about fine, I think. The next thing that we're gonna do is take our ellipse. I don't know how you write out an ellipse mask. There it is. And then I'm gonna take our blur or blare, I don't know what's what I should call that, and plug it here. The mask goes here on the image, and after that put it right back here and take the mix node and mix this one and this one. Make sure that this one goes there, right? So you can see that we have a black image with this round thing going on. So it's called I believe they called it I don't even remember what they call it, but we're just gonna widen it and widen its height. There we go. Why am I doing this? So that it can have like a little black here around, so that we can focus on the object in the middle here. It helps to for focus. And then I'm gonna take this mix and put it on multiply. Where's multiply? There we go. As you can see, we have the black thing here, but then it's ugly like this, so we're just gonna come here and shift it to like 30, 20, maybe 27, let's say 25, 20, you know, whatever. 22 is nice. As you can see, we have the little black here. We can focus on our object here. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is to take our hue. We're gonna come to color, and then there is hue saturation values. I'm gonna plug this here, make sure this goes here, this goes here. What I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna, you know, bring the value just so, make it all nice, and bring our colors, make them really nice, and you know, and after that I'm gonna insert a lens distortion. Lens distortion. There we go. I'm just gonna plug it here, and then this ones go here and this one goes here, and I'm gonna say fit, and here I'm gonna say 0.0, let's say 4. There you go. You see, it brings like this chromatic aberration type of thing, like so many colors. If I exaggerate it, you can see that what it does, right? It's very cool. And yeah, I think we're gonna put it at 0.5. As you can see, it has actually done that. And I think that's just about it, guys. It's all done. What you have to do right now is to go back to your compositing, to your default mode, into the default tab. You can make that 100 there on the resolution, and on the sample count you can make it 300 or 200 or 100, whatever your preference is. And then you can go to the next panel and click denoising to make sure that your final render doesn't have noise. And after that you can render and get your result like this. So The next thing that you could do is that you could subscribe. Make sure that you get the next video that I'm going to post as well, because I only shared a portion of what this style is actually capable of. So I'm gonna be doing a full scene on my next tutorial, because this was just a starter and or the introduction. So make sure you are there for that if you like what you saw, and share it with your friends, and comment if you have some questions, and I'll be able to answer them fast. I think that's just about it, and I'll see you on the next tutorial. Thank you for watching.